Welcome to Rising Parent, your go-to podcast for navigating the spookiest season of the year, Halloween. I'm your host, Edna, and I'm here to help you ensure a safe and fun-filled holiday for your little monsters. But first, please subscribe to our podcast. It helps us to provide valuable content that will support you on your parenting journey. In this episode, Tim and I will cover everything from choosing the perfect costume to managing the candy overload. We'll also explore alternative treats for kids with allergies. So grab your favorite beverage and get ready for a frightfully good time.
Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. You know, it's funny, I feel like the Halloween decorations are popping up earlier and earlier every year. Like just yesterday, I saw those fake spider webs at the grocery store, and it's like a switch flipped in my brain. Suddenly I'm thinking about costumes and candy and, all things Halloween. But with all the excitement, it got me thinking about something super important. Halloween safety. Especially for all those trick-or-treaters out there. It should be a night of fun, not frights, right?
Absolutely.
So to make sure we're all prepped for a safe and spooky celebration, we're diving into some expert advice today. We've got two great sources lined up. A super detailed article from Nemours, they're the geniuses behind kids' health, and a really informative YouTube video by my pocket pediatrician. It's like getting the inside scoop from both parents and a doctor, the ultimate safety combo.
And, it's not just about common sense. These sources highlight some statistics that might surprise you.
Okay, hit me with the numbers. What did we learn?
Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, points out that kids are actually 4 times more likely to get hit by a car on Halloween than any other night of the year.
4 times?
4 times.
That's a pretty scary thought.
You're kidding. That's terrifying. But it's good to know, so we can be extra cautious.
Exactly, and that's why both sources really hammer home the importance of visibility. We want those little ghouls and goblins to be seen.
Absolutely. So what are some practical things folks can do to make sure their trick-or-treaters stand out?
The Nemours article has a ton of great advice. They suggest opting for light-colored costumes whenever possible, which just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
The lighter the costume, the easier it is for drivers to spot them in the dark.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, be safe, be bright, be seen.
Mm-hmm.
But what about those kids who are dead set on being like a vampire or a witch? I mean, you can't exactly tell Dracula to lighten up his wardrobe. Right. And that's where reflective tape comes in handy. Both sources are huge proponents of this. You can easily slap some on those darker costumes. And here's a genius tip from the Nemours article. Put some reflective tape on those treat bags, too.
Oh, that's so smart, because let's be real, those kids are practically glued to their candy bags all night.
Exactly. And, of course, we can't forget the classic, the flashlight. Fresh batteries are key. I learned that one the hard way. My kid ditched their cute little pumpkin wand last year, halfway through trick-or-treating, because the batteries died. Talk about a recipe for a meltdown.
Oh, I've totally been there. It's like they're suddenly afraid of the dark once that glow stick fades. But seriously, visibility is no joke, especially with so much excitement and, let's be honest, a little chaos on Halloween night.
You're telling me. And it's not just about what those little monsters are wearing. It's about how they're navigating the night itself.
Okay, so beyond the costumes, what else can we do to make sure everyone stays safe out there?
Yeah, it's not just about spooky costumes and bright lights. It's about making smart choices. Setting those little ghouls up for success before they even set foot out the door.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've all seen those kids just like darting across the street in a sugar rush, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk strategy. What are some things we can do to keep things under control?
Well, both sources, the Nemours article and that My Pocket Pediatrician video, they're on the same page when it comes to parental supervision.
Yeah.
Especially for the younger ones. Think 10 and under. Those little goblins need a chaperone to navigate the chaos.
Makes perfect sense. I can't imagine letting a 5-year-old loose on a night like that. It'd be like herding cats. But what about the older kids who are ready for a bit more freedom? How do you strike that balance between safety and independence?
That's where those pre-trick-or-treating conversations come in, yeah.
Right.
It might seem like a drag, but trust me, it's worth it.
Yeah.
The American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, they stress the importance of a clear plan.
Okay.
That means talking about the route, setting a strict curfew.
Right.
None of this, I'll be home when the street lights come on business.
Right.
And making sure they're going with a buddy or a group. There's safety in numbers.
Totally agree. But let's be real. Even with the plan, things can still go sideways. Kids are kids. That's why I was so intrigued by that forward safety code you mentioned earlier. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Oh, yeah. Isn't that such a clever idea?
Yeah.
It's all about giving your older kids a way to signal for help without drawing attention to themselves. Basically, you agree on a simple phrase beforehand, something that wouldn't come up in regular conversation.
Okay. So instead of saying, like, help, I need to come home right now,
Right? Exactly.
which might embarrass them in front of their friends, they can just casually slip in those 4 secret words.
Exactly. Could be as simple as, like, blue moon, pizza time.
Yeah.
Or, something completely random.
Right.
That way, you know it's legit, and they can discreetly let you know they need backup.
Wow. I am adding that to my parenting arsenal for sure. It's such a simple thing, but it could make a world of difference. Okay, so we've covered visibility, supervision, communication. What other safety factors should be on our radar?
Well, now that we've got the big picture covered, let's zoom in on some specifics. Both sources get into some really interesting details about costume safety that
Okay.
if you might not think about, in the heat of the moment.
Costume details. This is where things get really interesting. Lay it on me. What kind of things are we talking about?
Let's talk masks, for example.
Yeah.
We all know they add to the fun,
Right?
but they can be a real hazard when it comes to visibility.
Oh, for sure. I've seen kids practically walking into walls because they can't see where they're going with those giant masks on.
Right. And that's a recipe for disaster, especially in the dark.
Hmm.
The Nimmer's article suggests considering non-toxic face paint or makeup instead.
Okay.
It's a much safer option and allows for better peripheral vision.
Okay, that's a great tip. Less is more when it comes to masks on Halloween. What else?
The other big one, and the My Pocket Pediatrician video really stresses this, is decorative contact lenses.
Ooh, yeah.
They might seem like a fun way to complete a costume, but they can be seriously risky.
Yeah, those always make me nervous.
And for good reason. Even if they say they're safe, those things can cause a whole host of problems, from minor irritation to some pretty scary eye infections.
Wait.
We're talking potential blindness in some cases.
Wait, seriously?
Blindness. I know, it sounds extreme, but it's true. The doctor in the video was very clear about that. It's simply not worth the risk, especially when there are so many other safe and fun ways to accessorize a costume.
Wow, that's good to know. I'm definitely going to be double checking my kids' costumes for those this year.
Yeah.
Okay, so masks and contacts. What other costume concerns did our experts call out?
They both stress the importance of a good fit.
Okay.
Costumes that are too long or too loose could be a major tripping hazard. You don't want your little ghost tripping over their own sheet.
Right. And what about all those swords and wands and other accessories?
Good point. It's best to stick with accessories that are soft, flexible, and short. You want to minimize the risk of anything being a poking hazard or causing an injury if they fall. The My Pocket Pediatrician video also mentioned flammability, which I thought was really interesting.
Oh, right, because of all the candles and jack-o'-lanterns.
Exactly. A lot of costumes are made from synthetic fabrics that can easily catch fire. The doctor in the video recommends looking for costumes labeled as flame retardant. It's always better to be safe than sorry.
Absolutely. And speaking of potential hazards, I have to bring up pumpkin carving. I remember watching that part of the My Pocket Pediatrician video and thinking, wow, I really need to up my safety game this year.
Right. It's one of those activities that seem harmless enough,
Right.
but those carving tools are sharp.
Yeah.
The video had some really good tips for making it safer, like having kids draw their designs on pumpkins first
Oh, yeah.
and letting adults handle all the carving.
Or even skipping the carving altogether and letting them decorate with paint or markers or stickers.
Exactly. It's just as much fun and a lot less risky for those little fingers.
Right, right. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here in terms of costumes and trick-or-treating safety, but what about prepping our own homes for all those little visitors? What can we do to make sure our haunted houses are more treat and less trick?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get so caught up in making our homes look spooky and festive,
Mhm.
but we can't forget about the practical stuff,
Yeah.
Both the Nemours article and the My Pocket Pediatrician video, they both emphasize the importance of doing a quick safety sweep. Yeah, before the trick-or-treaters descend.
Yeah, I'm picturing a little kid in a dinosaur costume tripping over like a rogue garden hose and thinking, okay, that's definitely on my to-do list this year.
Exactly. So think about things like clearing walkways and porches of any tripping hazards, Hoses, rakes, decorations, you name it, and good lighting is key.
Right.
Not only does it help those little ghosts and goblins see where they're going, but it also kind of sends a signal that your house is open for business, you know?
Oh, I love that. Open for business. It's like we're all shopkeepers on Halloween night, handing out goodies instead of selling wares.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, we can't forget about those furry family members who might not be as thrilled about a constant stream of costume strangers at the door.
Right.
Any advice for keeping our pets safe and sane amidst the chaos?
Yeah, both sources were pretty adamant about this one. Even the most laid-back pet can get a little freaked out on Halloween.
Oh, tell me about it. My cat turns into a total scaredy cat when the doorbell starts ringing nonstop.
Yeah. It's best to err on the side of caution and keep pets secured in a separate room, away from all the action. It'll minimize their stress and prevent any accidental escapes, or, heaven forbid, bites.
Yeah, solid advice. A calm pet makes for a much happier Halloween for everyone involved. Okay, so we've tackled costumes, trick-or-treating safety, and even prepped our homes for those mini visitors. Now, can we talk about the main event? The candy. I have to admit, I always get a little nostalgic this time of year thinking about those pillowcases overflowing with sugary treasure.
Oh, who doesn't love a good sugar rush?
Right.
But before we unleash those little sugar monsters on their loot, both of our sources had some interesting things to say about candy safety.
Oh, yeah, I remember reading something about the Teal Pumpkin Project in the My Pocket Pediatrician video. What's that all about?
Oh yeah, the Teal Pumpkin Project. It's such a cool initiative. Have you heard of it?
I have, but I'll bet some of our listeners haven't. Give us the rundown.
Okay, yeah. So it's all about making Halloween more inclusive for kids with food allergies or dietary restrictions.
Okay.
So in addition to handing out candy, participants offer non-food treats.
Like what? I'm trying to picture what a non-food treat would be.
Yeah. Think glow sticks, stickers, spooky temporary tattoos, bouncy balls, things that every kid can enjoy,
Yeah.
regardless of their dietary needs.
Oh, that's such a great idea. I bet those kids feel so seen and included when they have options. I remember, like, dreading Halloween as a kid because of my peanut allergy. It felt like everyone else was having fun except for me.
Exactly. And the best part is, it's super easy to participate.
Right.
You can paint a pumpkin teal, put up a sign, or just let trick-or-treaters know you have non-food treats available.
Yeah.
It's a small gesture that can make a world of difference.
I love that. It's such a simple way to spread a little extra kindness on Halloween. Okay, so Teal Pumpkin Project, check. But we can't talk about Halloween candy without addressing the elephant in the room, the sugar overload. Any tips for managing those post-trick-or-treating sugar highs and the inevitable crashes?
Oh, the sugar crash is real. The My Pocket Pediatrician video had some great advice for that.
Hit me with those wisdom nuggets.
One of the simplest but most effective tips is to make sure kids have a healthy and filling dinner before they head out.
Okay, that makes sense. Full tummy equals less room for candy.
Exactly. It helps prevent those blood sugar spikes and crashes, which can lead to meltdowns for both kids and parents.
Oh, I can definitely see how that would help keep those Halloween horrors at bay. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into all things Halloween safety. I feel like I've learned so much, and more importantly, I feel empowered to make this Halloween the safest and most inclusive one yet.
Me too. It's amazing what a little preparation and awareness can do.
Absolutely. And for all of our listeners out there, we hope you feel the same way. Remember, Halloween is all about creating fun and lasting memories, and that starts with keeping everyone safe and sound. So as you're putting the finishing touches on those costumes and stocking up on treats, remember all the tips we discussed today. And who knows, maybe you can even start a new tradition in your neighborhood with the Teal Pumpkin Project. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and have a spooktacular Halloween.